Messi sets another Champions League record. Chelsea are coming of age. A European goal-scoring wonderkid is at it again. We've got a transfer roundup and this week's power rankings all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the One Footballers and this is the Daily News. So first off, Lionel Messi, who actually doesn't break that many Champions League records. That's normally left to Cristiano Ronaldo. But Lionel Messi last night scoring against Slavia Prague became the first player in Champions League history to score in 15 consecutive seasons. If you want to know what makes him one of the best, I said one of the best, I'm not choosing sides here, it's because he does it consistently. 15 years of being at the top of the game, and last night it was a fantastic finish to put his side on his way to a 2-1 victory. He did actually provide the cross which saw the second goal go in. Although Luis Suarez did volley it back across the face of goal, it doesn't go down as his goal, it was an own goal. This means that it is still a long time since Luis Suarez last scored a Champions League goal away from home. In fact, it's so long, it's 1,498 days since he last scored against Roma back in 2015. As for Barcelona, it was their 6th win in a row and they're currently top of La Liga, although they won't be playing this weekend, of course, because the game against Real Madrid, El Clasico, has been postponed. So moving on and to Chelsea, who last night apparently came of age. That's what Frank Lampard has said about his young squad who don't have too many minutes in the Champions League. Well, they went to Ajax last season, semi-finalists, albeit without two massive stars and Frankie de Jong and Matthijs de Ligt, and managed to win 1-0. This is made even better by the fact if you look at Ajax's start to the season, they definitely shouldn't have lost. In fact, I think this was their first defeat in the whole campaign. Their first two Champions League games, they swept aside Lille and Valencia, and Chelsea really shouldn't have been able to go there, keep a clean sheet, and come home with all 3 points, but they did. This just goes to show that whatever Frank Lampard is doing at Chelsea, it's really working. They believe in him, he's got the right system and playing the right players at the right times. Michy Batshuayi came off the bench to bag the winner, and it means that on the return leg in a few weeks' time, for match day 4, this is definitely the most interesting matchup at Stamford Bridge, as it's one of the most interesting groups. And next up, of course, we move on to some more records which were broken in the game's other matches, as RB Salzburg lost 3-2 at home to Napoli. This game saw 2 fantastic records broken. One from Dries Mertens, who became Napoli's 2nd highest ever goal scorer with his 2 goals, overtaking the legendary Diego Maradona. He bagged in 2 and Lorenzo Insigne got the other one, the eventual winner, after Erling Braut Haaland managed to get 2 goals, meaning he is the first ever player in Champions League history to score 6 goals in his opening 3 games. Of course, this is absolutely sensational form and puts him up there with the likes of Didier Drogba and Karim Benzema when it comes to making an impression in the Champions League in your first few games. It's no wonder the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester United are both interested in signing the Norwegian. And in that group's other game, Liverpool swept aside Genk 4-1 in what really wasn't that much of a surprise. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain bagged 2 wonderful goals and really stated the case that he should be starting in the Premier League, beginning with Liverpool against Spurs on Sunday. As for the rest of them, well, Firmino, Salah and Mane were up to their usual tricks, so you can't really see anything new there. So now on to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news, where Unai Simon, the Athletic Bilbao goalkeeper, is interesting Real Madrid. PSG won Andre Onana from Ajax to rival Keylor Navas for the number 1 shirt. Arsenal think they can get a cut price deal for RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano, and Manchester City are interested in Spanish midfielder Fabian Ruiz. So now we come to the Onefootball Power Rankings. Of course, this is where we look at loads of players across Europe at their last 5 games and try and deduce who has been the best. We've got a list of the top 10, so let's look at the table from numbers 10 to 6. Donyell Malen has fallen off ever so slightly with his goal-scoring ability, so he drops down to number 10. Heung-min Son seems to be leading the Spurs revival and sits in at number 9. Luis Suarez is in at number 8. Serge Gnabry still keeps up some pretty good form for Bayern in at number 7. And Ciro Immobile is banging him in for Lazio, meaning he sits in at number 6. So now on to the top 5, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo sitting in at number 5. In the last 5 games, he's got 3 goals, 4 man of the matches, and it's a real return to form for the Juventus striker. We haven't actually seen him in the power rankings this year, so welcome back, Cristiano. Into number 4, and it's Robert Lewandowski. He was dominating the power rankings with all of his goal scoring, and although he still finds the back of the net, his performances, much like Bayern Munich's, haven't exactly been the best in recent weeks. There's a 2-1 loss at home to Hoffenheim, a 2-2 draw at Augsburg, and they just managed to edge past Olympiacos, meaning that even though Lewandowski has scored, his overall performance hasn't necessarily been so spectacular, so he drops down to number 4. And talking of returning to form, much like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi is in at number 3. 3 goals, 3 assists, 4 man of the matches in the last 5 games, and he's helped Barcelona, as we mentioned earlier, to 6 games on the spin. It's not quite his best of what we know he can do, but he really looks to be ramping up his style just in time for the Ballon d'Or award. He definitely knows what he's doing. So now we enter the top 2. Of course, you guys know I present a case of both of the challengers before finally revealing who takes home the crown for this week's power rankings. On one hand, we've got Raheem Sterling. Now, he's been in pretty good form recently, but the last 2 games just took him to a whole nother level. After a pretty decent performance against Crystal Palace at the weekend, he got 2 assists in the first half against Atalanta, and then an 11-minute hat-trick in the second. Pep Guardiola thinks he's one of the best in the world, and you can see why. He is definitely contending this week's number 1 spot. But on the other hand, there's Angel Di Maria, someone whose form has picked up in the last few weeks, and after bagging 2 goals against Nice at the weekend, he got a hat-trick of assists against Club Brugge, meaning that PSG ran out 5-0 winners. He's always doing the support work while not necessarily going head-to-head with the big egos like Mbappe and Neymar. And talking of Kylian Mbappe, those of you are going to be wondering where he is. Matt, he scored a hat-trick in 38 minutes against Club Brugge. Well, Kylian Mbappe needs to be on the field to get into the power rankings. Those 38 minutes was the most he's played in the last 5 games. One of them, he didn't even play for PSG. You've got to be on the field consistently if you want to be in the top 10. So without any further ado, between Angel Di Maria and Raheem Sterling, the winner this week is Raheem Sterling. Some fantastic form for the Manchester City winger, and you can fully expect that to continue in the next few weeks in the upcoming run of games. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts on the power rankings and the rest of today's daily news in the comment section down below, and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.